is up? What is up? We are back. Black in the building. It's your boy. You already know who the fuck I am. Man, we are back. It's another Saturday. Another day off from the Court Plantation. For those who are at the Court Plantation, shout out to you. Much power and respect. Shout out to everybody out there that's handling business. You already know who the fuck it is. It is your boy Warren G in the place B. Been clowning sucker free since 2003. Y'all know that means you cannot finesse me no more because I'm too old for that shit now. Shout out to everybody that's out there handling business and paying your bills. If you got your little stimulus check and your income taxes, come fuck with a nigga. I know bitches right now spending their money. This niggas too. Nigga about to go get them a chain and shit. So shout out to all y'all niggas. Man, we thought we would hit y'all with another Saturday. Y'all thought I was bullshitting. I'm gonna get right into it, but I gotta send a special shout out to everybody at the Court Plantation because I already know how the shit go. We are live and back. We are not whack, and that is a fact. So shout out to everybody out there. Shout out to everybody on the East Coast, Shawnee, Philly. Shout out to Philly, blackandnoble.com, Urban Reads Bookstore, Mix of Health. That's where I get my CMOS from Black and Noble as well. Shout out to the Nation Islam, Freedom Paper Company. I'm gonna keep saying that right now. I don't even know if you can see that shit, but shout out to them. I don't know. If you need to wipe your ass because you've been shitting, then go get them some motherfucking toilet tissue. They'll fuck with you. Everybody that's out there reading and studying and handling business, shout out to y'all. I'm gonna get that out the way. You already know I brought my boy back. Nick the Quick is in the building again. We gonna be hitting y'all up. So we about to get into it right now. Let me cut this clown ass music down real quick. Hold on. Man, we about to get into it. Nick, man, what's going on, bro?
Same old shit, man. I'm glad to be back, dude.
Man, what's going on, man? How your week, man, bro?
Oh, you already know, man. Trying to get over this bullshit sickness, and I'm back, man.
Man, that's good, man. That's good. I'm glad that we've been able to get through this little sickness, man, because we already know right now, man, it's a lot of shit going on. And I'll tell you this. Let me turn that up for you, yeah. Turn that up. I'm gonna turn that up too. Look. Hey, we hood over here. We working this shit out as we go, nigga. We lucky that the motherfucking signal's working. But anyway, yeah, man, there's a lot of shit going on and a lot of things that I wanted to discuss. The first thing I wanted to discuss was we gonna get right into them until we talk. The main topic is mind control and racism. And the reason why I would say the mind control racism is important is because I was reading this article about this young brother who stormed the Capitol. He drove his whip into the building or whatever. You know, brother, of course, they gonna plaster his picture all over.
Right.
But all the mother motherfuckers that raided the motherfucking Capitol, they not talking about him. And I read in the article, I don't know if you read it, but he gives reference to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
Right.
So you already know what that means. And you know they've been banning Reza Islam. Brother Reza, I got his book. You should go get that book too. Reza Islam he's a millennial. He's your age. So, bro, you read his book. He talks about a lot of stuff I've already read, but I still will read it because I'm still learning. But when I read in the notes that he gives reference to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, I'm like, here we go with this shit. You know they censoring him. He ain't on YouTube. He ain't on Facebook.
But if they were white, they're like, oh yeah, we can't give any notoriety to these people. We can't show their faces. We won't say their names.
So, Nick, man, let me ask you something, man. Before we get into that, we gonna talk about a couple of things. One of the main things I want to talk about, I hit up my brother Nick. For all y'all that don't know, this is my boy Nick the Quick, man. Yeah, so y'all know if motherfuckers on here, you know he with some real shit. This, I ain't gotta say no more. I don't need to give y'all his dossier. Y'all gonna see by what he talk about. But anyway, Nick, man, I had you watch the canine intervention because I wanted to talk about that, and I wanted to talk about that brother who stormed the Capitol. But I definitely want to talk about that the canine intervention. So we gonna get into it. What did you think about it? Tell me, what did you think? You watched the whole thing. I didn't tell you what we was gonna really talk about. I just wanted to know, what did you think?
Dude, I watched all 6 episodes this morning, and I thought it was really good, man. And I thought it was actually a good way to train your dogs, man. So I don't know what everybody's tripping on, but but it could be also because he's Nation of Islam too.
And you know what? I thought he was. I don't know if he's Nation Islam or if he's just Muslim. He might just be,
Muslim.
but it don't matter though. Now, let me tell you what I think about it, Nick. I'm just gonna tell you what I think. Now, it's so funny. I was talking the other day, and I had just said it the other day. I watched it all the way through. When I first started watching it, Nick, the first thing I looked at was he is not a smiley motherfucker.
Right.
Like, he's from the Yay area, and the Yay is like that. They not gonna smile with you if they don't fuck with you like that. I used to club and shit a lot, and I used to get a lot of love from the Yay area people because I used to always be bumping Too Short and E40 all the time. And people be like, "You from the Yay?" And I'm like, "Nah, I just like E40, man. His shit is dope." So I was bumping E40 when E40. This was before.
Same thing with Mac Dre too.
Yeah, Mac Dre and all that. I bumped a little Mac Dre, but a lot more E40. But the thing about it is I was bumping E40 before Tell Me When to Go. I was bumping E40 in the 90s because my sister used to listen to E40. Right. My brother-in-law, my ex-brother-in-law used to listen to E40. My older brother used to listen to E40. You usually listen to what your siblings listen to.
Right.
So when my sister used to pick me up from school, because yes, nigga, my sister used to pick me up from school. I was too lazy to get, first of all, I'm not catching no bus. And second of all, my sister used to pick me up from school, my auntie and my uncle. And my sister used to always be bumping E40. All E40, oh man, Brother Lynch, all those dudes, because my brother-in-law used to listen to all that.
Right.
And then I used to bring the Timberlands and the Neptunes. I was more of that. So it was a big old melting pot of music.
Right.
So when I'm watching this brother, yes, I'm like, this nigga ain't no, I immediately got into it because he ain't no smiley motherfucker. So I'm like, okay. And then he know his shit. So I'm like, damn, he know his shit. And he not smiley. And you notice everything, every little clip, it was about him giving an opportunity to a brother. Right. You didn't notice that, huh?
Oh, I definitely noticed that.
Did you notice that?
I noticed that.
Did you pick up on that?
I noticed that.
I picked up on that right away. I said, okay, so he's already representing the culture.
Right.
And he's not smiley. And it's good what he's doing.
This ain't gonna go over well.
I swear on my mama, nigga. I was like, this is not gonna go over well. He's not gonna get a second season. I swear to God, I was thinking that. You like, oh man, you shouldn't have a defeatist mentality. He was too good. Right. His training was thorough. His dogs look dope. I'm not even a German Shepherd type of person. I love Rottweilers, but that nigga made me want to go get a Dutch Shepherd.
Right.
In the little box, and I'm like,
yeah, his dogs are badass, man.
Bad as a motherfucker. And then too, you gotta look. He referenced his belief system, Islamic faith. So you already know that stigma that they put with Islam, and then he represents the culture. He had Marshawn Lynch on there.
Right.
You know, and if you go on his Instagram, I follow him on my Instagram, but I had been watching him for a while. E40, all the major heads fuck with him.
Right.
So I said,
Kevin Hart,
yeah. This dude's not good. It's almost like you can't even be on TV. Right. If you black and you don't smile. Now, if he was a homosexual, LBGTQ, LMNOP, XYZ,
they would have already had the second season out.
So what you think? Tell me. Now, I got off with my chest what I thought. What you think about it?
So initially, I just watched the show. I read up a little bit on it after you told me that they was not going for the second season. I'm like, what the fuck, man? This is a good show. And then all the backlash about how he was mistreating the dogs and all this other shit, and I'm like, I didn't see that, man. In fact, he was telling that one white lady that owned the fucking the pound or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not on the dogs. It's always on the human beings if a dog does something bad. So
man,
I didn't understand that part.
What? Now let me ask you another question. You knowing about this system, and it is a system, a systemic system of racism and white supremacy. Did that surprise you? It did. You know what it did? I called it before it happened. I didn't even read. Why you think I sent you that? I said, just go watch the season. I'm not going to tell you what's going on. Just go watch the season because I still talk about it.
Right.
I still, when he's like, sit, break, and then they go, I'm like, damn, that's fucking dope. And you know what I liked about him? He wasn't smiley with the customers either.
Right.
Like he knew his shit, and he didn't fold and cave in on his belief system on how he trains the dogs. You notice with that lady that had the dog shoes on the dog, and right. She didn't want to get the dog. He was like,
"This is your fault. The reason why the dog is acting like this."
And you see how he checked the shit out of her in a real nice way. But he was like,
Not only that, but he checked the shit out of the kid too. Hey, this is your dog. You need to be handling this shit too. Like,
I was dying laughing. When I seen that shit, man, I was rolling, bro. And the reason why I was rolling, man, because I was just like, okay, I get it now. I see where this is going. This is going to be something that won't be around for a while. Because I kept saying, every episode, he's not smiley.
right.
Remember the dude? He walked in there and the dude was like, oh, he said, just because you don't think the dog might not bite does not mean the dog might not bite. But he didn't smile with him.
Right.
Kind of like, my nigga,
Right.
you feel me?
Right.
I'm like, this is white America.
Yep.
When
Especially because, like you said, he's employing a lot of brothers, man. And
did you see that?
Yeah, for sure.
What
man.
did you think about that?
Dude, it has to happen, man, because white people don't hire black people, man. They hire people that look like them. And they don't fuck with people that hire black people. So, you know what I'm saying? So you got the dude in the wheelchair, you got the other dude that with his homeboy from back in the day. Like, that's not gonna go over well with white folks, man. It's just not.
Hey, shout out to 066. Hey, what's happening, man? Hey, this my boy Nick, bro. I told you I was gonna have a guest over here, man. Y'all thought we was bullshit, man. But we gonna make it happen. Nah, man, the homie in the chat room was like, man, hey, yo, what's up? Warren G, who's your homie? Dope to see a guest on the show. Hey, man, you know what it is. They ain't seen no guests on. You already know. They ain't seen no guests on the show since Nuke, bro.
Okay.
And Nuke probably ain't been on in probably almost about a year and a half. Because, you know, the COVID shit, busy, that type of shit, schedules. And, you know, the corporate plantation sometimes don't want to allow you to get off at a certain time. That's all I'll say.
Right.
So then, you know, you're dealing with time constraints and shit like that. But I'll tell you this, Nick. This is what I think.
Start working for yourself.
Man, be an entrepreneur, man, because these motherfuckers will work you to death. When I saw this brother build this business, you could tell he been grinding for a long time.
Yep.
And you could tell he knows his shit.
Right.
What really I was like,
And he started it because his dog ended up killing another dog, and he was like, I had to do something about that. And you know what? He blamed himself for his dog killing another dog. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we started up the dog training business and went from there, man. But you see, he has a whole operation.
ain't it dope?
Yeah.
You know what I thought about doing? I'll tell you off air. Because I thought about, I'm like, man, you need to come to Vegas. I'll take my dogs there in a heartbeat.
Right.
I will pay and drop them motherfuckers off and pick them up when you done, nigga.
I'll see you in 3 weeks.
I'll see you in 3 weeks, homie. And I'll just try to continue because you know he was on the Ellen show, right?
No, I didn't know that. I just heard about this dude from you, man. So.
Man, bro, because, you know, look, we pay for these streaming services. So I feel like if we going to pay for them, I'm watching them. So when I saw it, Canine Intervention, and I saw his picture, I ain't going to lie. I'm like, okay, look like a brother. Light-skinned brother. I'm going to check him out. Once he said, yeah, you know, I'm from the Bay Area, and he pronouncing them ors, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Right.
And then I started watching how he deal with the customers. I'm like, oh, man, this is dope. He wasn't smiley. He wasn't, Tyrone,
Right.
you're right. That bullshit. Because, you know, that's how they want.
Right.
You know firsthand, that's how they want.
They want you to conform, man.
They want you to bend the knee. If you
Right.
watch the Game of Thrones, the first thing they do when they take over a territory, what did that girl say with the blonde hair at the end? The Tarkanian, the dragon lady. Bend the knee. If you want, bend the knee. You don't bend the knee, I'll kill everyone. Bend the knee. And that's what they want. You have to acquiesce. And when I watched this dude, you know that he had to do, I was on his live yesterday, and I had left a comment basically like, bro, I fucks with your shit heavy, bro.
Right.
Like heavy. This man had to be explaining his training, man. You know how pissed off I was about that?
Right.
He had to like literally
When it works, man. Like, you can see it works.
and he had to explain it. And I'm like, well, why are you explaining? Your shit is thorough.
Right.
Why would Marshawn and them, they just mad because he's employing black people, in my personal opinion. He's taking black people off the streets.
And, and let's not forget that Muslim thing has a lot to do with
Thank
it as
you.
well, man.
Say it, bro.
I mean, seriously, dude, like, the fact that he's black is one thing, but if he was a Christian,
Ugh.
they would let a lot of stuff slide, man. The fact that he's Muslim has a lot to do with it as well.
And you know that Christian back in the day was a term for white people.
Right.
And then Muslim Moors was a term for blacks because the Moors were Muslim.
Right.
So That's why it would be like the Christians against the Moors. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The white people against the black people. I'm serious.
Right.
And you're right. I was looking at that and I'm like, oh, so they're trying to cancel them. Okay. This is mind control, which makes you, because your goal is to be successful, in my personal opinion, and reach people. Mm-hmm. I'm not speaking for my brother Yaz, but I feel like that's his goal, to reach people, and he has a real passion for dogs. So he's trying to reach people and turn them on to something different so they can take care of their dogs and be responsible for their dogs.
And why is he the problem when euthanized if it wasn't for him? So why is it more acceptable to kill a dog and put him down than to retrain him and have him be a better dog for their people?
And good question. Let me say another thing. What about pit bull and parolees? They don't train no fucking dogs.
Hell no.
That ain't no training.
No.
Nigga, you might as well let me get a show.
Right.
Me and you should get a show. And pit bull and parolees. Pit bull and Corbin plantations.
Right.
Cause them bitches ain't, to me, they not training no dogs, bro. No. They just housing pit bulls. Right. That's all they're doing. Right. And then getting grants and funds. And I'm not hating on them, but their story kind of, it's like, but where do you go from there? Because you're not giving the dog a training that could sustain for the rest of the dog's life. That dog, if you go watch the Ellen DeGeneres show when he was on there, his dog, I forgot the dog's name, German Shepherd, sat there in that box the whole time he was interviewing. Right. Didn't move. He moved one time and he gave him a command, I think in German or some shit. That motherfucker sat down.
Right.
And didn't do nothing. I'm like, but y'all want to tell me he don't know what he doing?
And not only is he training him to do that type of stuff, man, but he's also training him to attack burglars that come in your house. Like that, there was that one episode with the boxer.
Yeah, you see.
And he was going to hide. He was like playing hide and seek with the dog and shit. That dog came and tracked his ass down.
I don't care. He make me want to get a Dutch Shepherd, bro.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna lie.
So he's not just training him to sit and heal when you're walking him down the street. He's training him for all these other things too. So yeah, I just don't see what the big deal is, bro. There's always going to be a problem, though.
I think
there's always going to be a problem.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. What do you think? Why do you think that there is a problem? Why do you think? I said kind of what I thought. What did you think watching the show and then kind of reading up on it? Why do you think that was a problem?
It's always racist white supremacy, man. We all have, no one wants to hear it. No white people want to hear the shit. But it's a system, man. It's a system, and it comes back in everyday life, including this. So you have a black dude who's got a prominent business. He fucks with a lot of celebrities and rich people, and now he's trying to go back and help his own community out and teach them how to deal with their dogs. It's gonna be a problem, man. They're gonna find some way. Like I said, the problem wasn't that these white people were about to euthanize this one dog for killing another dog. But he took him out of that cage and said, no, I'm taking him. I'm gonna find him a better home. Gave him to Marshawn Lynch's goddaughter.
So did, yeah. You ain't lying about that.
And now that dog is trained and has a home. So I just don't get it, man. I don't get the backlash on that one.
And do you see how he kind of checked that lady too and was like, "You doing too much. You got way too many dogs, man."
Right.
He was like,
and she said too, because she tried to blame the dog, and he was like, "It's never the dog's problem. It's always the human's problem."
Yeah, that's real.
There's always something that could be done that the human did not do for the dog, right?
I agree with you. What do you think about that the Capitol shooting? Before we get into that, how do you feel about Aunt Becky's husband from Full House? You know Aunt Becky from Full House.
Yeah.
How you feel about her husband getting out of prison early?
Man,
I was dying. You know that nigga was basically like, Your Honor.
But Bobby Shmurda had to do 6 years, man.
6 years.
Yeah, it's like I said, man. White people are always gonna get off lenient, and they're always gonna be the victim, and they're always gonna have the sympathy of the courts, of the lawyers. Prosecutors or the defendants. Like it doesn't matter. They're always gonna have the sympathy.
Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? Like, I can sit up here all day and say what I think, but from you being in this system and you seeing it from your eyes and you understand it, because they'll come around you and they'll come out the bag around you.
Right.
I know you've noticed that. Yeah. We've had conversations,
yeah.
About how you like, hey dog, like, I don't know about these motherfuckers. You know what it remind me of? It remind me of another dude that I knew from the corporate plantation. This a couple of years ago, and he was a Latino brother, and you know, some Latinos tried to come up to him and start speaking in Spanish, and he was like, nah, I don't do that shit.
Right.
You checked him at the door like, I'm not
at the
finna
job.
speak to you in Spanish to talk shit about other people.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, he checked a motherfucker for saying that Black Panther was trash.
Right.
And this was a Latino brother. And told me, he was like, that was the best movie Marvel ever came out with. I ain't gonna put his name out there like that, because then people will know what I'm talking about. But
After the white dude said he didn't know what the big deal was about Black Panther.
oh, he know. Hey, this is a true story, man. I cannot lie about this. It was a white person that was like, I don't even know what the big deal. Most people that are, I would say, uneducated on what racism really is globally, they'll say that. Most people. But I'm not letting anybody off, especially a part of the dominant society that plays dumb, that Sharon Osbourne shit. What? Explain it to me. What am I doing?
Right.
No, you can't get off like that. You know what racism is every day when you get up and you walk out your house and you get pulled up by the police and he don't draw his gun on you and he lets you go with a pass because you look like him. You know what the code is.
Right.
And I think when Black Panther came out, I think some other racial groups were kind of like, what the fuck is this about? Then it was like, oh, it's imaginary anyway. You know, Africa isn't really like that, because that's what they go by. That's what they think Africa is. What
Right.
you think?
So this is the problem that I have with most white people, is that they date black women, they date black men. They like the culture, so they like the music, they like the food, whatever it is, and they don't think they're racist. Let me tell you again, you start learning racism at 3 years old. Whether it's cartoons, whether it's your parents, whether it's your family members, whether it's school, whatever it is. So take me, for example. I went to a school that was predominantly white, right? We had like 5 or 6 black people in the entire school, but guess what? I didn't notice. I guarantee those 5 or 6 black people noticed.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So that's a definition of how this system works. And so it's the same thing with Aunt Becky, right? You're dealing with a white person who's living and from Beverly Hills, from Hollywood, that did to what they think was a white collar crime.
A white collar crime.
So, hey, we got to get this dude out of jail quick, because he doesn't deserve to be here with all these black folks. It's the truth, man. You know what I'm saying? So.
Oh man, that's funny. Hey, let me read. He said, hey, I got a white homie, cool as fuck. Probably one of my closest friends. Only thing we don't agree on is reparations. Laugh out loud. He just can't understand.
So this is the thing about reparations, man. And
Speak on it.
I tell Warren all the time, man. You want to get some people offended? Just bring up the R word in front of white people. They'll shut the shit down.
Why? Why is that? Why is that? Tell me, from your perspective, why?
Because the worst white people, because all white people hate the shit, but the worst white people are actually poor white people, because they look at it and they go, well, we wasn't alive during slavery, and we broke, and we ain't get no money, so why should you get money? Well, this is the thing. Black ancestors, black slaves, they built this country, man. They built the railroad. We talked about that last time. They built this entire country.
No, according to, Mr. You know who,
right?
Mr. NYZXP was like, the Chinamen built the railroads.
Right. They finished the shit and they got all the credit. So, but this is the thing, man. And most of these white people that are here now, their ancestors came after slavery, right? They came after the 1880s when the big influx of people came in from Ireland and
Scotland and
all those
Great
places,
Britain,
right?
yeah.
So their ancestors weren't even here, but yet they think that, like, oh, well, just because I'm white and you're black doesn't mean I don't deserve any money too, right? So they got to get over that shit. Jewish people are getting reparations. Japanese people are getting reparations. There's all these other different ethnicities that are getting reparations, and they didn't do anything for America. You know what I'm saying?
Why is that? Why is it that they didn't do anything for America, but they got reparations, but black folk, my ancestors built the country, but every time we bring up reparations, white folk make us feel bad about bringing it up. Well, not me. I don't feel bad about it, but they'll make. I've witnessed a lot of other racial groups, and particularly the dominant white society, white folk, be so cunning and crafty at making black folk feel guilty about bringing up reparations. I've seen it. I've witnessed it. Right. And I've kind of been quiet about it because before I wasn't well read on it. So I was just kind of like, all right, well,
see, it's gonna take money. It's gonna take money and power to turn this whole thing around. So if we give foundational Black Americans money and we empower them, well, that's actually doing the opposite of what they want, right? We got to keep them down. So in order to keep them down, we got to keep them in these neighborhoods that we call hoods. And we got to keep them without the money, without the generational wealth, right? You start getting generational wealth, and you can start changing some things. we can't have that, right? So it's another form of keeping foundational Black Americans down.
Do you feel like even when you have, see, this is the thing that I think. When you bring up reparations, you're right. They do get offended, and they're good at it. But what they do is what we talk about off the air, white fragility. They start deflecting.
Right. Defensiveness.
Defensive, yep. And, you know, and our lovely other racial groups, especially and particularly, you know, I've met a lot of Italians who, you know, over the years, you know, I have my good Italian OG Lou. He's never said that shit to me, never. But we've even talked about that before, and he's like, "Fuck out of here, Warren G. Black folk built the fucking country. That's bullshit.
Right.
Fuck that. They should fucking get whatever fucking money they need. That's bullshit." See, you know, some people are like, that's whack as fuck. Like, we know we didn't build the country, but then there's some people that'll be like, my parents came here with $2 in their pocket, right. and they built their wealth and everything off that, but that was off the backs of Black labor. And then when you say that, they're like, well, what do you mean? You weren't there when they built this country 300 years or 400 years ago.
Well, it wasn't 300 and 400 years ago. Okay, you can look at the city that we're in right now,
Vegas,
and where were Black people not allowed to live? They weren't allowed to live in Henderson. They weren't allowed to live in North Las Vegas at the time.
Yep.
It was only the west side of town, right?
Yes.
You look at South Central, a lot of white people will bring up, oh, well, why do Black folks burn their own neighborhoods down? You mean the neighborhoods that they were forced to live in?
Exactly.
They don't look at that like that's their home. You know what I'm saying? So this isn't 400 years ago. We got to get over that shit. This is right now. You know what I'm saying? And until we change stuff with money, it's not going to change. You have to empower people.
Nick, I always say this too. So you can give out a stimulus, right? For the pandemic and the scandemic. You give out a stimulus because you don't want
lousy $1,400.
Yeah, $1,400, right? To everybody. Right?
Yep.
But when it's time to talk about people who built the country for free.
Right.
For free. I'm reading this book called The Price for a Pound of Flesh. You probably hear me talk about it a lot. Some of the shit in there. Oh my God, some of the shit. Like one sister, she just gave herself her own C-section cesarean because she was just in so much pain. A lot of these slaves, like the cane brake plantation, that I think that was in either Louisiana or Mississippi. It also talks about James Sims. Shawnee knows about that. We always have dialogue about that every time. Matter of fact, she was the one who helped me remember. He's in that book, Medical Apartheid. Oh, that motherfucker was operating on sisters and wasn't even giving them anesthesia.
Right.
When they had anesthesia, he was like, no, they Black, they don't feel any pain.
Not to mention they was cutting out babies from the womb and shit.
From the womb.
They was doing fucked up shit.
And you were worth more dead sometimes because they could do studies on you.
Right.
That's why they wanted to kill you.
It's also in Red, White, and Black by Mike Shabazz.
I got to get that book,
He makes a good point about reparations in that book, too. He said, okay, picture the company you're working for. I work for a company that has thousands and thousands of employees. Now, instead of getting paid, all those thousands and thousands of employees are working for free. And then you add 400 years on top of that. Why is it that America passed up every other country that has been here for generations and thousands of years before us? We passed them up economically. How do we do that? It was by free labor.
Yep.
So there's got to be something that we do, right? So you look at South Africa, right?
Oh, don't get me started. You know, them South Africans, them white folks, South African, what they call them? Africans or whatever.
Yep.
You know, remember I told you it was a motherfucker from South Africa. Oh, well, I'm South African. I said, and what the fuck is a South African?
Right.
What is that?
Right. But they speak with a British accent.
Yeah. That's why they dominate 9 areas of activity. What does everybody speak in the whole entire world? What is the universal language? English.
Right. And I think I told you last time, man. White people want to play the victim. That's fine, man. We can play the victim. But you know what? Let's give Black people, foundational Black Americans, in charge of all 9 areas of activity. let them rule for about 400 years, and let them whoop the shit out of your ass and rape your women. And then, you know what, you can play the victim. But this is the thing, man. Like, we don't even like to take credit for the shit that we did, right? So we sit here and in the late 60s, early 70s, we go, oh, okay. We all look at each other and go, you know what? Let's not say shit. Let's pretend like it never happened, and maybe the shit will go away. Let's not give any credit. Let's not give any money. Let's not help these motherfuckers out.
Benign neglect.
Right.
Benign neglect.
That is a real law that was in.
Nixon, wasn't it? Was it Nixon?
It was in the Nixon administration in the early 70s.
Benign neglect. Let's just act like they don't exist. Why do you think I always talk about? We had these conversations off air all the time. Shout out to my nigga Dom too. We had these conversations all the time where I'm constantly like, well, why didn't you think Joe Biden? Remember when Joe Biden was being interviewed by Charlemagne?
I didn't see that.
You just go check it out. And he was just like, well, what do you feel about the 94 crime bill? Because Hillary Clinton said there was things you guys shouldn't have done and could have not done.
Right.
You know, and she was very regretful for that bill. He was like, I'm not. Black people came to me. They wanted that. He was like, but what do you mean about the mandatory minimums? And he was like, what is your specific agenda for black folk? Charlemagne, if you ain't black, if you don't vote for me, then you're not black. His handler was like, okay, that's his time.
Right.
That's his time. And I said, he's never going back to the Breakfast Club.
Right.
And he got black folks vote again.
Well, let's go a little further back before the 94 crime bill. Let's go back to the affirmative action, right? Why did affirmative action help white women more than it helped any people of color, especially black people, man? Because you say people of color, they'll bring in a Hispanic, they'll bring in an Asian person, they'll bring in a gay person,
East Indian.
Right. So black people, why did it help white women more than it helped black people? Because they don't want to help black people, right? Why did the 94 crime bill put more black people in jail than anybody else? Because that was their goal. And they put it in these cryptic writings in the book to make it seem like, oh, we just trying to fight crime. Well, it's putting a lot of black, especially men, in jail. And they served about 25 years now. So,
yep.
Come on, man.
And you have to understand, in that genetic coding of ours in our DNA from slavery, that's in our genetic coding. So when your kid is born as a black kid, your parents are constantly educating you, whether you know it or not, how to act, what to say, what to do around police, how to act around white people.
Right.
They're constantly battling with teachers. I was reading this article too, Nick, about this black sister and her son, and they had a Zoom call with a teacher. The teacher thought she was off the call and started talking all kinds of shit about black people.
Oh, man.
She thought she exited the Zoom call and was just like, oh, these fucking niggers, these black kids, they fucking get on my nerves. They always late. Woo. But these are the people that are responsible for our education. Right. That's why I like Nas. I don't know if you know a lot of the story behind his dad. His dad basically told Nas's mom, take him out to school. They ain't teaching him shit anyway.
Right. Because I didn't learn shit. I mean, you look at all the books I'm reading now, man, and I didn't learn any of that shit. Like I said, they go from slavery and they jump straight to Jim Crow, right? And it's very, very slim about what they talk about.
Man.
Right? White people owned slaves, they freed them. It was good after 1865.
Because of Abraham Lincoln,
right?
Which owned slaves too,
right.
And was trying to save the Union. And then all the Union did was reinstitute the system of racism and white supremacy and not establish a system of justice, meaning anti-black racism all over again, and it made it where anybody that is not black could join the Union. And if you are black, no, you're not taking our jobs, you're not joining the unions and none of that. My thing is this. If black people ain't shit, then why did y'all need us to build the country? That's what I would always say. Then what did you? Because you couldn't. The weather conditions were too crazy. That's why I am a firm believer of what Dr. Claude Anderson teaches about. We are a special people because we were the only people that could endure a lot of that bullshit that was going on, and they know this.
Right.
That's why you can't be awakened. They want everybody to be ciphers. You know, blue pill smoothie. What did he say? I don't want to remember nothing.
Right. Shit. A white kid get bullied for like 3 months. He go inside the school and shoot everybody up. Black people live with this for 400 years, man. So yeah, it's a bunch of bullshit. But this is the thing, man, and this is what we have to remember. You can either give the money out like you're supposed to, because you're giving about a bunch of money that we ain't got to everybody. So evidently you can afford it. Or the only way it's gonna change, man, is if people rise up. and something that's similar to the Haitian Revolution in 1804 happens, man. Something's got to give, right? So you either take it by choice, you choosing to give the money out,
or force,
right?
Yep.
That's something that they don't want.
Yeah,
you even bring up force, man, they gonna start putting people in jail.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Why do you think they don't want anybody associated with the Nation of Islam and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan? They but my thing is this: if the Nation of Islam is so bad, then why does the most honorable Elijah Muhammad have? He was like one of the dopest businessmen in his time. You know how many businesses he had?
Right. And why is it always about the food you eat, man? This dude came in and said, man, stop eating pork, stop eating all this bad shit for you. But yeah, white people can give you all this shit. They want candy and you want brownies, and you want sugar, and all this other shit. They don't say a motherfucking thing. You go to the doctors and they don't even ask you what you eat.
Yep.
So yeah. Like I said, man, it's a race issue, man. If there was white people that was running the Nation of Islam, it would be the most popular religion in America right now.
That's a fact. I'm sorry, that's a fact. That is a fact, man. I was thinking that shit too. I'm like, now, if he was such a bad guy, why do you have all these businesses? And if he was such a bad guy, right? He's just that bad of a guy. Then why that book, How to Eat to Live? If you read that book and then go watch What the Health, it'll fuck you up. Everything in What the Health is exactly what's in that book, How to Eat to Live by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. And he wrote that book in like the 70s. And he was basically telling you, he said the same thing, doctor. That's why, you know what, my trick bag? I told you this before. I always trick people up. Oh my God, you follow, I remember, you follow Dr. Sebi? Oh, I follow Dr. Sebi too, Dr. Sebi, mucus in the blood. And just because they done went and watched a YouTube video of Dr. Sebi one time, right. So everybody wants to follow Dr. Sebi, right? Yep. Right? Yep. This is right before Nip died. I said, so you like Dr. Sebi? Yeah, okay. Well, then you must like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad from the Nation of Islam. Oh, no, I'm not into Nation of Islam. Well, by proxy, you are.
Right.
Well, what do you mean? Google Dr. Sebi and the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And the first thing he says, I thank God for the honorable Elijah Muhammad. He told me everything I knew.
Right.
You notice nobody wants to associate the teachings of the honorable Elijah Muhammad with Dr. Sebi. Where do you think he got it from?
They want to take the shit that benefits them and keep out all the other stuff.
Exactly. And that's why I always be like, bro, if you go read that book, because I think it's 2 books. You read the book, and to me, it's a breath of fresh air. The reason why I say it's a breath of fresh air, Nick, because he goes in on white folk about their bullshit. I'm talking about every other sentence. Oh, you like to eat pork? These are the things that pork does to you. And blah, 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 blah. And this is what the white man gives you. But you think he loves you. Well, why would he love you if he it all makes sense. Right. If you love people so much, then why would you do more harm? Just like I sent you that article about real water.
Yeah, and it's causing kidney failure. It's causing hepatitis C or hepatitis A. It's like, what the fuck is going on here? I remember an argument that you got into with a white girl at work one time about dairy, and she was so convinced that dairy was good for you because this is what the schools teach you from day one: drink your milk, it'll give you strong bones. And it's like, no, man, go ahead and read some books and really learn that our system isn't supposed to break down dairy. Nothing. Milk, cheese, nothing like that, man. So
remember how she was she tried to get a little hostile.
Oh,
no,
yeah,
I'm like,
sure.
No,
yep.
You don't know what you're talking about. Because I remember this person in particular, I think she had something with her gallbladder. I said, and I learned that from reading, research, Dr. Sebi. Because like when you order, I still got some of Dr. Sebi's shit from like 2013, 2014, 2015, before he died or whatever. And he'll tell you like the body has natural things that it will heal itself if you let the body become alkaline. Right. Like it'll naturally start to repair itself.
Right.
So like if you have gallbladder problems, stop eating fried foods.
Right.
Your gallbladder will probably repair itself. Right?
All these diseases live in mucus, man. And so as long as you're eating these foods that create more mucus other than your mucous membrane, it's going to give you cancer. It's going to give you diabetes.
Yes.
It's going to give you all these fucking problems, man. And yet no one wants to do nothing about it. And instead they'll do chemo and try to get rid of this shit.
Bro, I'm sorry, bro. It's been one. Hey, I'm not even putting that out there, but I don't understand. I remember I had a family reunion. My sister, I don't know, damn, damn, I would have to ask Tasha or somebody, but it was like 10, 12 years ago. I don't know when, but it was a lady. She wasn't related to us, but she kind of was. And they had said, I remember my mama was like, oh yeah, she's supposed to be sick. Man, and she was smoking so much motherfucking weed.
Right.
And she was old as a motherfucker too.
Right.
And I think my mom was like, yeah, they had told her she needed chemo. She was like, fuck, y'all niggas got a bitch fucked up. She just started lighting up joints and smoking them. And I didn't blame her because I was like, fuck that. Because that's damn, man, that's fucked up right there.
And shit, my grandma did chemo, man, and she was fucked up afterwards, man. She's you know, she's not around no more, and it has a lot to do with that, man. You know what I'm saying? Because we weren't educated enough to learn that it's what they're feeding you. It's all these fast food restaurants that they built up that are billions and billions of dollars worth of money, man, that are giving you fucking shit that no one would eat. Your dog shouldn't be eating it. So,
man,
you know what I'm saying?
No, that's real. You know, even like the late great Chadwick Boseman, I really wish he would have went to go see. Well, Tahuti was not Tahuti, but Dr. Sabi had passed away. But I really wish he went to go see like Layla Africa, because Dr. Layla Africa, he's a natural herbalist,
right,
and a healer.
Right. Or
go see Tahuti Ma'ara. That's when you gotta go start seeing herbalists.
Right.
You know, go see a voodoo priestess.
Right.
Don't fuck them. Cause I'm telling you right now, if I'm fucked up out here, nigga, you gonna be like, oh shit, this nigga Warren about to go Louisiana go see it. You damn right. If I gotta go to Haiti, nigga, I'm going to Haiti and sit and kneel before a voodoo priestess, and then I need to go see a herbalist. I'm not fucking with they shit.
But you know what, man? I can't blame Chadwick Boseman, man, because what they did is that they tried to discredit Dr. Sabi, right? So
yep.
They bring him to court. They try to get him in jail. They got him in jail eventually, but over having $10,000 in cash. I mean, that's what it was over. So it was a bunch of bullshit,
and
man.
I didn't mean to cut you off. He died because he refused to eat any of the food.
Right.
That's all.
He died of starvation. He didn't die because he was getting malnutritioned or from what he was eating.
Yeah.
A lot of people say that it's because, oh, well, he was eating all that shit that wasn't good for him. No. That's bullshit.
That's bullshit.
He refused to eat what the prisoners were giving him.
Dope. He was dope. I'm telling you. And you know how I found out about Dr. Sabi? Through this show, Zoe Williams. He used to have this show. That's where, bro, I'm telling you, the majority of my books from the very beginning, I got it from this podcast where he would always do like a book club and he would recite these books that he was reading. So I just started adding them to my Amazon cart in like 2013, 2014. And then over the years, I'm like, I need to start reading this shit. You feel me?
Right.
And
because it's the only way you're gonna educate yourself.
Man.
No one else is gonna give it to you.
And when you start getting treated a certain way at the corporate plantation, if you are anti-Sambo or anti-Coon, it should do something to you. Right. And I'm not talking about like, oh, you didn't get a promotion. I'm talking about just the unfair treatment. If you don't take stock and inventory of that, then you got a problem.
Right.
Like, then you believe in the Matrix, you know, and I don't believe in that. So I started to take stock and inventory of a lot of the shit that I saw, and that made me run to the books. And I'm telling you, I had already finished The Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews. Then after I read that, the very next book that I read was The ISIS Papers by Dr. Frances Cress Welsing. That was the very next book that I had read. And when I'm telling you, I was sitting just reading this motherfucking, reading. I'm like, oh my God, I should have read this a long time ago.
Right.
And then from there, I read Black Labor, White Wealth. Black Labor, White Wealth pissed me off though, because Dr. Claude Anderson that nigga goes in, and he is not playing no games about the facts and the shit that he points out. Like you said, people of color, they throw anybody in there.
But once again, it's the educational system. The educational the schools won't even let Black Labor, White Wealth be in the schools for kids to read, man. So it's what you're teaching these kids, and them growing up and thinking that they actually are smart when they're just dumb. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't know.
Why you think I don't like being around? It's not that I don't like being around it, but when you're dealing with educated people, I'm talking about within the European system, not all. But some people, they tend to think that, most people, I would say some, they would tend to think because they got the European education, which I would call it a passport, that they feel like they're somehow ahead of you. And I'll be laughing because I'm like, but my brother or my sister, you don't even understand what life is about. You know what I'm saying? And I had to learn that, because at first I used to be like, damn, they got a degree in such and such. You know, that's tight. Or, you know, they got a BA degree in woo woo, man. Like, damn, I should have went to school and I'm a failure. And I went through that whole thing, bro. Excuse me. And then when I started reading, man, it was so empowering, dog. I just was like, because I started seeing shit differently. Like I told you before off camera, I'm like, wait, what the fuck? Like when I read that book, White Fragility, I was like, hey, I was like this, like, wait, what you say?
Right.
Oh, you said such.
And
Let me see right here. Yeah, you making excuses.
Right. And don't you notice that you intimidate people like that though? Because you start reading and they feel dumb. So when they start going dumb, they start pushing back. Like, no, I'm right, you're wrong. Just the same thing with that white lady about the dairy shit. The dairy shit.
Oh my God, I was laughing at her. I'm like, have you seen What the Health?
Right.
She was like, no, I haven't seen it. I was like, go watch What the Health, and then tell me if dairy is good for you. That milk. First of all, I didn't even want to really get into it with that young sister, because first of all, they told black folk milk does a body good when all I got to do is go stand in the sun. That's all the vitamin D. That's natural vitamin D. Right. That activates my melanin.
But once again, you can't be surprised, man, because this is probably the same person that believes in the Bible, that believes that Jesus was white, and that her Lord and Savior is white up there, and accepting a bunch of white people and shit and pushing all the black people out. So you can't be surprised about any of this, because once again, it starts from day one, man. You know what I'm saying?
Make you a fool for that, because I know where you going. You going with the Cesare shit. I remember we was talking about. Hey, bro.
Cesare Borgia.
When I first heard it, I was like, who the fuck is that? So I Googled it real quick. This was like 6 years ago. I Googled it. I was like, I didn't even know what to say, bro. I was like, nah. Then I started going through and looking at other pictures. I'm like,
it's Jesus.
They wrong for that shit.
Right.
And I was like, oh shit. Then, bro, when I read the book, The Borgias, I was like, and what's so cold about them? I told you before. I even told another dude, oh, you got to go see the Borgia Palace. I said, but why would I want to see that? First of all, I don't understand these so-called Italians, or even the Italians. You know, they take so much pride in inventory, but and they, oh, I'm Italian. Well, y'all some weak motherfuckers, because y'all talk all this shit about black folk, but the Borgias were Spaniards. Right. They weren't Italians.
Right.
And they got a palace in Italy,
right,
named after they shit. They was the Cesare's daddy, Pope Rodrigo. He was a Spaniard, like Mark and Paul Gasol. He wasn't Italian.
Right.
Y'all let these motherfuckers come in here. That's why the Medici family didn't really like them like that. And they didn't even really like, what's his name? Machiavelli. Machiavelli used to be lying a lot. Like, I don't think the Borgias really like Machiavelli. And I know that the Medici family, they didn't really like him either. And then there's a book, and see, the Medicis, they're Italians, right? You know, and they was a corrupt banking family. They were like the first Federal Reserve, bro. The Medici family. Either them or the Merovingians. But it would be more the Medici family, because they were more a banking institution and they were very corrupt, right?
Right.
So you watch the series. I read the book and watched the series, right? You read the book, and I watched the series on Showtime or HBO or whatever, Medici. I watched it all the way through. Cosimo and his son and all this other stuff. Then I read the book, right? Then as I read the book, they mention a little bit, but not too much. It's more about the banking and all this other stuff. And how I think it was either Cosimo, or I forgot the other son's name. Because Cosimo is the grandfather of the banking family. And then there's, I forgot his name under. I'm gonna have to look it up real quick. And on Amazon, right, how they go with the algorithm. Mm-hmm. So in the algorithm, if you were looking up a whole bunch of, black books, they'll just keep sending them to you, right? They send me a book after I get the Medici money. They send me a book, Alessandro de Medici, Amor. He was a mulatto. His mom was Moorish, and the dad, I think, was not Cosimo, and they used to fuck black Moorish women. But they didn't talk about that shit on the motherfucking show, though. Right. They didn't talk about that shit at all. And he was so dope. I got the book down there. He was smart as fuck. He was good at jousting, and they needed somebody to take over the heir to the throne. They couldn't find nobody because all the Medicis had passed away. So they went and got him because they knew he had Medici blood in him.
Right.
But they didn't fuck with him because he was black.
Yep.
His cousin kills him.
And it's really simple, guys. It goes right back to just picking somebody that looks like you. We can't believe in a higher power that does not look like us, because then guess what? Once again, you're empowering black people, and we can't do that. So let's pick this motherfucker that looks a little bit like us, and this motherfucker's the best dude that's ever lived.
That's real, man. What you think about that guy, the young brother? I think it was Noah Green. Who we were talking about earlier, and how they trying to cast a bad light on him and basically link him to the Nation of Islam. What you think about that?
Man, so I don't want to speak on him. I kind of want to just speak on the news itself, man, because like I said, if the dude was white, and there's been a lot of white dudes that, like I said, have shot up motherfucking churches and have shot up all these fucking schools and all this other shit, and they go, you know what, we're not going to show his face or say his name because we don't want to give notoriety to this person. Well, why is it okay to give why are we giving notoriety to Noah Green now?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So what? It's subjective. If they're white, we're not gonna show them, and if they're black, we're gonna show them. We're gonna put them front on the screen. We're gonna put them on all the websites.
Why do you think they do that? Like, honestly, why do you think they do that? Like, remember Chris Darner?
Imagery. It's all imagery.
Would you now? How does that relate to the Court Plantation? Because this is what I see. If a melanated brother or sister come up with a great idea or do something that's profound, you never hear about it. But a white person can tell everybody to go fuck themselves. They can do black tar heroin in the bathroom and come out and get a promotion.
Right.
Now that's what I see. What do you see?
They'll be the CEO in 3 weeks. Like I said, it's all imagery, man. So we talk about all the time about on our company's website, what they'll do is they'll put foundational black people on it, one or two, in the mix of all these white people, and go, look we're not racist. Look at the black people we hired, but yet they're probably the only black people that live in that or that work in that whole entire building, right? So. Facts. Go, I hate bringing up the same book, man, but you gotta read White Fragility, because there's a part in that book where she talks about doing a counseling session for like 200 people at this corporation, and
all the white people was getting pissed off.
The white dude stood up and go, they don't hire white people anymore. And she looked around, she goes, is that why there's 195 white people in this room and 5 people of color? Not 5 black people, 5 people of color, maybe 2 black people. So if they're not, you know what I'm saying? It's all about perspective. The same reason why when I grew up, I didn't see how my school was predominantly white, because I'm just looking at people that look like me. Yeah, but if you went to one of my friends, they'd have been like, fuck yeah, we noticed that shit on the first day.
On the first day. Why do you think I've noticed a lot of times, just me, I've noticed this too. When I'm around the dominant white society, the white people that are confident and have been around black folk before and are not with that anti-black shit, and you can tell they not when they can look you in the eye, and you can see by who they associate with, who their friends are,
right,
who they deal with,
who they surround
themselves with. Not even their interests, because you don't have to have the same interests, but you could just look at how they converse with you. So when you have a conversation, or like we would say conversate, when you conversate, they don't just have to bring up sports. Hey, Tyrone, I do that bit. Dom was telling me that shit. He had me roll. He was like, nigga, I was listening to your podcast. He was like, so Jerome. Right. That nigga had me rolling because it's the truth, man.
Bringing up basketball games when you don't really watch basketball.
Bro, I remember this motherfucker was like, so, hey, man, I think it's pretty fucked up what Colin Kaepernick is doing, not kneeling. I said, he's like, what do you think about it? I said, I don't watch football. And at the time, nigga, by the time I get home from work, you think I got time to watch football? I'm tired.
And you know what they're really saying when they say that, man? When they bring up Colin Kaepernick, what they're really saying is that they're actually with the black people getting beat by the cops.
Exactly.
Right? That's what they're really saying in a nonchalant way.
Yes. And remember, I told you there was a specific person, that was in agreement with, he's disrespecting the flag. And I said, I said this on the podcast a couple of days ago. I said, do you know who Francis Scott Keys is? And he was like, no, I don't know who it is. I said, you know about the Star Spangled Banner, right? He was like, no, yeah, no. I said, they took out the third verse. Do you know who Francis Scott Keys is? I'm going to ask you one more time.
I was just about to say that. Go and Google the national anthem.
And he was like,
read the whole thing.
Read the whole thing. I said, do you know they took out the third verse?
Right.
Because he was an anti-black racist and he was a white supremacist and he felt the need. He felt that, and he was under the belief system that blacks were put here to be slaves to white people. And that's what he felt. Yep. And that's why they took out the third verse. This dumb motherfucker who's way older than me was just kind of like, oh, I didn't know that. But I wouldn't expect you to, because you can hide under the garb of white or Hispanic. Right. So that's why you don't deal with what Warren deals with every day, but that's what makes me me and makes you you.
If I'm not mistaken, that in the third verse, they rhyme slave with grave. So, I mean, it's just telling you, like I said, man, these people want to, they're not going to give up power, right? If I'm in power or something and Warren wants it, I'm going to be like, hey, hold up, man, let me keep this for another 500 years real quick. You know what I'm saying? It's got to be taken by force. It's got to be taken with money, right? So you got to get the money, you got to get the power, you got to get the people behind you. Once you get that, man, the dominoes are going to fall, right? But you got to take it by force, bro. This racism, white supremacy system is never going to end as long as you're sitting there waiting for the white man to change it.
Because they're never going to change it.
Does not want to change
They do not want to change it. Just go on your core plantation. I tell me and my sister, we have conversations like this all the time. And the first thing we'll talk about is, like, she'll tell me how she be like, nigga, I'm not going to be out here jumping through hoops for these people. I said, ain't that a bitch? We built the country. But these niggas will tell us we're lazy, and then they'll have every other racial group. Right. That's why I got love for my Latino brothers and sisters. But y'all know what y'all be doing sometimes. Y'all be doing some sucker ass shit on these corporate plantations and replicating the behavior of the dominant white society. And let me tell you, the dominant white society, the one thing that they can't stand is a Sambo coon. You think they like that, but behind closed doors, they can't stand that shit because they look at
about you too.
They talking shit about you too, and how much of a coward you are, and how you will throw away your own nationality and culture just to be like us. They laugh at that shit. That's why.
This is the problem with a lot of ethnicities, man, is that they can have their cake and eat it too, right? So they can conform to the white man and try to run up the ladder, but then they can also look at the foundational black American and go, I'm not racist because I'm brown, because I'm Asian, because I'm all the no. You can't have your cake and eat it too, man. You either with us or you're against us.
Exactly. And a lot of people do that. Man, look, hey, that's our time. We definitely went over by like 15 minutes, but it's all good. That's our time. Man, my bro, Nick, I'm glad you stopped by. We're going to be doing this.
I'll be back next week, man.
We're going to be doing this every week. That's a fact. Niggas just think that's why niggas going to think, I'm pretty sure my sister's going to be like, damn, I missed the line. I already know she going to say it. The internet wasn't tripping this time, man, so I guess we good. Hey, man, I appreciate everybody listening, subscribing. If you know people that'll fuck with this channel, send it to them. If you don't know people please don't send them that shit. Because I ain't trying to get the channel taken down. I know how motherfuckers are, man. And that's why that's one thing I'm gonna say before we get off, man. I'm glad you went and looked up that video, man. Cause niggas be thinking I'm bullshitting about getting views and shit. Right. You know niggas be thinking I'll be lying about that shit.
Right.
You saw how many views that video had, right?
Man, like 60,000 views, man.
I sent it to 4 people on Twitter. Right. In 2012, bro.
Right.
Bro, I had more. I had that one. You can ask G. It's other niggas that know. Man, bro. That's why. And let me tell you this too, Nick.
And the thing is, we want people that want to change the system. So if you don't want to change the system,
then get the fuck away from me.
Don't watch it.
Don't watch it. And that's why I only kept that one as evidence that, I can go get views, my nigga.
Right.
Like, if I know how to go get views, it takes 5 minutes for me to use my gimbal, which that's another thing we gonna talk off the air because I got other shit that we gonna get into too. But I kept it, and I'm glad you did it because when you sent me that, you text me that, I said, okay, good. He knows I'm not bullshitting him. Right. Because the motherfuckers be thinking I'm lying, bro. Right. Bro, let me tell you something. When this channel is built up and it grows, I want it organically to grow, bro. I don't want motherfuckers on here cloud chasing, or now that the wave is this type of channel, so now you got all these people over here acting like they fucking with us. I ain't with all that, bro.
And I told you, I actually liked another video that wasn't that one. It didn't have 60,000 views. But you know what? You said some real shit 3 years ago that you're doing right now.
We got to,
I like
man.
that one more.
Oh yeah, you talking about the one when I was riding in the car,
Yeah,
man?
yeah.
Cause that was just what I was thinking.
Go back and watch the other videos from this channel, man. Don't watch this one. Go back and watch the early ones.
I'm telling you, man. But hey, man, I appreciate it, Nick, bro. I'm my pleasure, man, and having you come through, man. Not yours, but mine, man. Cause you know, hey, man, it'd be hard coming up with topics and doing this shit by myself, man. It's not as easy as people think. Sometimes it's therapy to me, but sometimes it's not as easy because you constantly trying to reinvent what you want to do. You want to keep people captivated. And
hey, I'm just happy you had me back, man.
Nah, man, I appreciate you coming through. Hey, I'll probably be back on tomorrow for another Easter clown ass Sunday. I didn't even know it was Easter, bro. Until a motherfucker told me that it was Easter Sunday type shit. I was like, wait, what? And you know, that was at the Court Plantation. I was like, why everybody got all this pink and yellow and shit? And oh, my Easter podcasts are classics. So you'll see it tomorrow. Hey, man, I appreciate everybody listening, subscribing. If you know anybody that fuck with this channel, hey, come fuck with us. If not, then stay the fuck away. If you on here and you are hanging out with people and you talking this, I don't see color. Guilty, nigga. I don't fuck with you and stay the fuck away from me, man. I'm out. We out. Peace.